Okay, we're going to talk about how to make 2 strips into a nice long tie for the side of the mask. And you're going to start with ironing your strips out so they're flat, and then you're going to go right sides together and just stitch along here. Okay, so now we have one nice long strip of fabric, and we're going to fold this fabric and make essentially what's called bias tape, which is this nice ties that we've been doing. I'm going to show you on paper first because it's easier to fold paper, and then I'll show you with the iron and the fabric. So pretend this piece of paper is a strip of the fabric here. The first thing you want to do is fold this in half and then open it back up. And this is marking center for you. And then you're going to fold each edge to that center. And again, when you're doing this with fabric, what you're going to do is you're going to take the iron, and instead of my fingers creasing this, I'm going to take the heat with the iron and crease that fabric. Okay, so again, we folded in half, and then we folded both sides in to meet in the middle. And then the last step is you're going to fold the whole thing over. And this last step is what you're going to stitch down, and you won't have any raw edges of fabric. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is the ends of your fabric are still hanging out, and you want to tuck them in so you get a nice tie on the end rather than a lot of frayed fabric. So how to do that is you're going to turn this under and then fold it before you stitch it. So I'll do that again. You're going to turn this under before you fold it and stitch it, and that's going to make a nice end rather than frayed fabric on the end. So let me show you how this looks with the fabric and the ironing board. Okay, so I'm going to fold this strip of fabric in half, and you'll notice that I have the pattern side down when I fold this in half, and so when I'm ironing on the pattern side. Okay, and then I open it up again, so this is marking halfway. And then I'm gonna fold this side to the center, and you'll wanna use your fingers. You be very careful not to burn yourself with the iron. This is pretty fiddly. Some people have tools that help them do this as they sew, bias maker tools. We're gonna assume that you don't. If you do, great, go ahead and use it. Okay, and then we're going to fold the other side down to meet the center. So you'll do this all the way along your piece of fabric. You might need to do it in batches. All right, and then the last one is, again, this end, you don't want this to be raw on the end, so you're actually going to fold this in and then fold it in half. And this is your last iron, as everything's going to be folded in half. Okay, and then sometimes I pin this because it doesn't like to stay. All right, that just helps that stay tucked in as I sew it so that it doesn't move anywhere. And I'm gonna stitch all the way along this edge here. Again, this is the edge that I've just folded. I'm not stitching along the fold, I'm stitching along the edge side. And I'm just gonna stitch that closed, and that will make my nice tie.